All right, mic check 1, 2. I'm turning into bouncer today. I'm giving Dan O'Keefe 24 hours to respond. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back again with another interesting one. And this is a direct message to Dan O'Keefe. I'm giving Dan O'Keefe, I'm turning into Bouncer. You guys probably won't even know who Bouncer is, or some of you guys might know who he is. I'm giving Dan O'Keefe 24 hours to respond to the videos that he put out there last year, 2024, talking about Jay being tortured. But it's time to call out these trolls, the real trolls, ladies and gentlemen. And Dan O'Keefe, at this moment in time, you are one of those trolls. In fact, why do I feel like you were planted? You were someone that just came out of nowhere with this video claiming that you have footage of the poor Jay Slater being tortured. You went on record saying that you had a video that you had watched, that you had seen, and it was detailed. You saw Jay Slater being tortured. That's what you said, Dan O'Keefe. And we need to hear an explanation. And I was just thinking about this because a number of you guys have been in the comments mentioning Dan O'Keefe this, Dan O'Keefe that. I literally saw this comment, big up PG_FTRL8. He posted this comment 44 minutes ago saying Dan O'Keefe was the only content creator to push a certain narrative or certain narratives about certain images and kidnapping. I'm not too sure about the kidnapping part, but in regards to the video that he claims, the footage that he claimed he saw with his own 4 eyes, he said that he saw Jay brutally getting tortured. Now, Dan O'Keefe, why did you make a video claiming that you saw Jay getting tortured if it wasn't Jay? Why did you say that? How the hell have you popped out of the blue with this claim about Jay being tortured? How? Where? When? Make it make sense. The guy makes several videos and then disappears. Never seen him again. He has never been on the algorithm whatsoever. And you guys know we do our FYP reactions. I've never seen Dan O'Keefe on the FYP. Never seen Dan O'Keefe pop up whatsoever ever since that little moment where he just stepped in, crept in and dropped a grenade talking about, oh, I've got this video footage of Jay Slater being tortured. It's gruesome. He used every single buzzword that will make your skin crawl, ladies and gentlemen. And then he disappeared. And when I first come across Dan O'Keefe, the way he was coming across, the way he was talking, I actually thought he was a journalist. I thought he was a genuine journalist that worked for some media outlet. But seriously, I'm not even joking. Let's find Dan O'Keefe. Dan O'Keefe, where are you, bro? Where are you? Don't make me come and put pressure on you, you know? Dan O'Keefe. Let me put his face on the screen so we know who we're talking about here. Dan O'Keefe. This is the brother we're talking about. We can see him next to Jay Slater in this thumbnail. So let's click onto this guy's channel. Let's have a little look at this guy's channel. It's got 9K subscribers. What's he been doing? What you been doing, Keith? What you been doing, O'Keefey boy? He's literally been doing nothing. I mean, what have you been doing? Shocking off-licence in Colchester. Homeless tents taking over London. So what is it that you actually do, Keith? I'm actually calling him Keith. His name's not even Keith. He looks like a Keith. So what is it that you actually do, Dan? What type of content do you actually create? Because you come out of nowhere, my friend, and you dropped a massive, massive bombshell that got thousands of us talking. And then you disappeared with no explanation as to why you made that video and as to why you thought you saw Jay in whatever video you claim you watched. No explanation whatsoever. I'm actually trying to find the video. Has he still got the video on here? Like, I've gone to his oldest videos, Justice for Jay Slater now. Okay, so he's put this up there. Time for justice for Jay's Slater's family. They deserve to know the truth. No, not the lies. Okay, I agree with that. I actually agree with that. As you can see, this interview that he's posted, in that interview, you kind of feel that Debbie wants to know so much more, that Debbie's got so many more questions, that there's going to be a thorough investigation into this. That's the impression that you get from this interview. This is also the interview where Zach, he says that someone said they pushed Jay. As I said in the previous video, and I do apologize with the previous one, I actually recorded that 2.5, nearly 3 days ago, and we've had multiple technical issues to the point where I haven't been able to record anything for the past couple of days. But we're back. And we're back with this one, giving Dan O'Keefe 24 hours to respond. But I digress, because what I was saying is in that last video, Sarah claims that they had to wait to the inquest in order to put all the facts out there. And that's a massive contradiction within itself, because there's questions from the inquest that haven't been answered. But not only that, when we talk about the conclusion of Jay's death, it was a 50-50 conclusion, ladies and gentlemen. It wasn't 100% an accident, because Richard Shepherd said he can't rule out someone pushing Jay. So with that in mind, and alongside there being no proof of Jay walking up that whirly road or being in the mountains, no proof whatsoever, not from Jay's phone, his actual device itself, whether he took a photo or a video of himself whilst he was in the mountains. And we're not talking about that blanket Airbnb video. No, that was a fabrication. We know it's a fabrication. That wasn't Jay, and it can't be proved to be Jay. It was just someone with Jay's phone. But as we know, ladies and gentlemen, there's no proof after 1:10 of Jay physically alive. They tried to hit us with that screenshot in the documentary at 3:07 in Tramps, but it's a grainy image, and everyone can agree, even a jury and a judge, that the person in that picture is unidentifiable. And if you thought it was Jay, you would have definitely found more CCTV evidence of him in that nightclub around that same time, whether it's him leaving, walking in, whether it's him at the bar, whether it's him doing something other than just a still picture of someone standing there with a blurred out face. Like, literally, what are we trying to force here? Because that's what it seems like.
You know what really is shocking is that there's nobody out there that wants to know the truth.
The bottom line is, ladies and gentlemen, Dan O'Keefe put out a bombshell. Not only has that affected a mother and her family and their overall feelings towards content creators, but it's affecting us content creators. What Dan O'Keefe did, no one else did. Yeah, there were other content creators who said things that I definitely didn't agree with. However, what I can say is that there was no content creator out there that made the claims that Dan O'Keefe did. Now, the Jay Slater case itself is one of the most mysterious cases that you'll ever find. There's so many unanswered questions, it's unbelievable. And that's all we're doing here, ladies and gentlemen, is trying to get those questions answered. We're not trying to be Dan O'Keefe. See, what Dan O'Keefe more or less done was trolly. You can't even imagine what those type of claims would have done to a family, bearing in mind those claims came last year, September, October. Debbie hadn't even got Jay's phone back at that point. So when she tells us about going down these rabbit holes, Dan O'Keefe is one of those rabbit holes. Yes, I'm here calling that Dan O'Keefe, and you can take it however you want to take it, because at the end of the day, you are one of the reasons as to why Debbie feels the way she feels today. I could be one of the reasons. I'm just going to call it as it is, because I know every single decision I made was about helping the family, was about helping the family understand the truth. It wasn't about making wild claims of seeing videos of Jay being tortured. Yes, to a degree, there's been some finger pointing. We've been trying to connect dots, trying to understand what really happened to Jay. And of course, there's many reasons as to why we pointed those fingers. And there's still reasons as to why I'll point my finger. Because those friends should have done better. Those friends could have done more. If they claim Jay was actually in the position that he found himself in that morning, they should have done so much more. But guess what, ladies and gentlemen? I personally don't believe Jay found himself in a position they claimed that he did that morning. And the thing is, ladies and gentlemen, the friends, as well as the documentary, haven't been able to prove me wrong. There's no proof of Jay after 1:30 in the morning, even through his own device. And we're not talking about messages, we're talking about videos, pictures, as well as voice notes. There are none, and the reason I say that is because some of that would have been revealed in a documentary. What they tried to reveal to us in a documentary was that message, that unsent message. Listen, I don't think I'm going to make it. And that's what Ayub slipped up on that live when he was with Luggy, and Luggy said, when he said, I spoke to the team. I spoke to the team. Remember, Ayub said, I spoke to the team, and the family had his phone. They got his phone, and obviously when they got his phone, what happened? There was an unsent message. Ayub claims he was speaking to the team. What team was you speaking to, Ayub? Because you wasn't a part of that documentary as if you're an inclusive member of the accident group. No, you was put on that documentary as a troll. So what member of the team was you referring to? I wonder why Luggy jumped in. Okay. But just before we end this, I want to mention something that we are going to delve into in another video. If Jay was really missing, ladies and gentlemen, and the friends knew that Jay was genuinely missing, why wasn't none of them searching? Where are their videos or their posts whereby they organize searches? Why wouldn't you do that for a friend that's missing? Nowhere can we find a video of Brad, Lucy, Brandon, Ayub, none of them searching for Jay, saying that they're out there looking for him. Don't worry, we're going to find him. We're going to try our best, guys. If anyone wants to come out here, let me know. You know, we can link up. Like, where is all of that? Where is all of that? It was just about making it look like a certain way online, get other people involved, and then we'll just start trolling everyone. Literally no videos or pictures of them searching. No updates on Facebook about where the meeting point is and everyone should gather there and we're going to start looking at this area or looking at that area. No organization whatsoever from none of the friends. They wasn't interested in doing any of that. It was just about manipulating the way people were thinking and feeling online, making it look like trolls are involved and someone was taking advantage of this case to cover up that disturbing message that was sent to Debbie. And then we're going to call in Chris Tenerife to save our skin. The same Chris Tenerife who's going to force Mark Williams Thomas out of the door, make sure he's got nothing to do with what's going on in Tenerife. The same people, Chris Tenerife and Sluggy the Side Chick, who in my opinion have manipulated Debbie to go against us because we, the content creators, are more or less the threat that Mark Williams Thomas once was. Anyway, we're going to leave it there. Dan O'Keefe, you've got 24 hours to respond. We want to see a video from you, giving us your explanation about that video you claimed you watched with Jay being tortured. We want to know all about it, Keith. I keep calling him Keith. You look like a Keith, bro. But Dan, yeah, Dan, we need to know all about it. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if we are newly watching. Plenty more videos uploading. I look forward to seeing you guys on the next one.